Our Sweet 16 coverage of the men's basketball tournament continues with a look at the Midwest region. Tonight, North Carolina takes on Auburn and Kentucky is playing Houston. Andrew Chernoff is a sportscaster for our Louisville affiliate, WLKY. He joins us from the Sprint Center in Kansas City, Missouri. Thanks so much for joining us. I want to talk Kentucky, of course. What lessons do you think the Wildcats take away from the tournament's first weekend?
Well, the big thing that the Wildcats can take away is that they can win without P.J. Washington. P.J. Washington is their star sophomore forward. He's missed the first two games of the NCAA tournament, dealing with a sprained foot that he received back during the SEC tournament. So the Wildcats winning without him, a big confidence builder going forward. A couple other things, learning against Wofford, this team has to get off to a fast start. It had a slow start against the Terriers and had to scrap its way back. Then at the end of the game, put teams away. The Wildcats were almost in cruise control near the end of the last game against Wofford. Wofford closed the gap near the end, but Kentucky held on. So many learning lessons, even though it was only the first and second round of the tournament.
And do you think P.J. Washington will be healthy enough to play, Andrew?
That's the big question. We keep asking, and he feels good, but he was going to test it out yesterday at practice. We saw him actually on the court. Stretching looked good, free throws looked good, but really didn't do too much high-intensity stuff while the media was allowed out there on the court. He was going to take a look at it. He said yesterday that his status was still up in the air, but keep in mind, John Calipari, the head coach of Kentucky, even said that this team is so much better when P.J. Washington is on the court. He's that much of a guy that changes the landscape of this team, averaging 15 points, which leads the team per game. He also averages 7.5 rebounds per game, which also leads the team. So when P.J. Washington's on the court, this team extremely dangerous. Not that they're not, but they're just better when P.J. Washington is on the court.
Yeah, absolutely. So will Kentucky, they'll tip off against a really tough Houston team tonight in Kansas City. What have you seen from the Cougars?
Cougars are very quick. A lot of great guards. In fact, their top 5 scorers on that team all lead the team, or all guards in the backcourt. So very quick. Corey Davis Jr. is going to be the guy to watch. He averages 17 points a game. Also, it's going to be fascinating because Houston, all about defense. It's almost like Virginia from that respect. Virginia won so many games this year. Houston's won 33. They're top 10 in scoring defense, just allowing 61 points per game. So Kentucky somehow has to find openings, take good shots, because if they don't, that's exactly what Houston wants them to do, take poor shots, and then we'll see what happens. Obviously, Kentucky's the favorite in this game, but Houston's going to be trying to make life very difficult for the Wildcats.
I bet they will be. And what are you looking for in tonight's matchup?
Fast starts. Kentucky has to get off to a fast start if the Wildcats want to win. On the other side, Houston's going to have to get off to a fast start. The way Houston plays, it almost seems like the Cougars need to be ahead when you're playing a good team like Kentucky, just because they're so defensive heavy. If their confidence gets low, Kentucky could run away with this thing. On the flip side, this is not a Wofford team, so Kentucky needs to get off to a fast start. It's not a guarantee if they get off to a slow start that the Wildcats will be able to come back. So look for the first 10 minutes to be a sign of things to come, especially going down the stretch into this game. It should be a fascinating game, though, because you have the blue blood Kentucky and then the newcomer, I guess, on the block in Houston. So it's going to be fascinating because everyone on paper thinks Kentucky should win, but Houston's a really good team.
Absolutely right. Andrew Chernoff, I want to thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Rena.